Do you know I have been doing a radio show in America for 33 years. One of the most common things people call to disagree with me about is this. They will say, Dennis, I don't understand why you promote religion. More people have been killed in the name of God and religion than anything else. Well, I always realize they must have gone to college. There's no other explanation for such a stupid comment. More people were killed in the 20th century in the name of humanity, not God, than in any other century in history. There's no close second. Communism and Nazism were the most barbaric doctrines in history. They were secular. They were not religious. They were secular religions, but they were not religious. They hated religion. I remember, because I studied Russian, I remember all the societies and museums that Stalin created and Lenin created when they came to power. Bezbozhnik means without God. It's the fancy word in Russian for atheist. That's what they hated religion, any religion. When people stop believing in God, things don't get good. Things get bad. Now, you know how often, if you look on the internet, it is so often, Prager said you can't be a good person if you're an atheist. I have never said that in my life. Not only have I never said it, I don't believe it. Of course there are kind people who are atheists. The issue, there are kind people who believed in Zeus. There were kind people who believed in Apollo. There were kind people who believed in all sorts of gods. So what? There were kind people all over the place and bad people all over the place. The question is not one individual. The question is society. Will we create a good society where everybody gets to choose what is good and evil? Which brings me to number 2, good and evil. If there is no God who says, do not murder, murder is not wrong. It is unbelievable. Every atheist philosopher I know understands this. But the average American or European does not. They can't understand if there is no God who says, do not murder, murder is not wrong, it's all opinion. I think murder is wrong, you think it's right. Do you know the last group in Europe to be converted by the Catholic Church? The Germanic tribes. And you know why? The church said, hey, you gotta live by the 10 Commandments. And the German tribe said, what's in it? They said, do not murder. Forget it. It's not for us. This notion, see, you don't know. People on my radio show, when somebody says something particularly stupid, do you know what I say? Say, I've never once insulted a caller in 33 years. I am very polite to all callers. But I do say the following. If they say something very stupid, I say, I'm just curious, what college did you go to? And then they will say, why do you ask? And I said, because you had to go to college to say something that stupid. If you didn't go to college, you would never say that. And I'm not insulting you, I'm insulting college. And I make that clear, I'm not insulting you. You had to learn that. People will say, oh, you don't need a God to say murder is wrong. Everybody can figure it out. Really? How? Well, I don't want to be murdered, so I won't murder. But that's absurd. No Nazi wanted to be murdered. They just wanted to murder. Stalin didn't want to be murdered. That's why he had somebody taste his food every day. He was afraid of being murdered. But he didn't mind murdering 40 million Soviet citizens. He didn't mind having a genocide famine in the Ukraine. Didn't mean anything to Stalin. This notion, I think it's wrong, therefore I won't do it, that's absurd. Prisons are filled with people who murder, who don't want to be murdered. Yes, we do need a God to tell us what is right and what is wrong. And I will give you an example, because again, I made a PragerU video exactly on this subject. If there is no God, murder is not wrong. So people, they get very angry and they get mockery. Oh, Prager, he would be killing if it weren't for God. He is a very scary man. So here is an example. I'm sure I wouldn't be murdering if tomorrow I woke up an atheist. I agree, I would not go around murdering.